Hi everyone. So if you follow my channel, then you would be knowing that I had started a series on a Mughal Empire wherein I discussed all the greater Mughal rulers right from Babur to Aurangzeb. I have attached a screenshot over here so you can see, and also I'll attach the link in the description or somewhere in the iCard button so you can go and check those out. And also today we shall see the last video under this series, which happens to be the downfall or decline of the Mughal Empire. So in this video we shall see what were the reasons or what were the causes which played a dominant, or you can say pivotal, role in the downfall of the humongous Mughal Empire. So let's learn them in separate pointers. So the first point which we will cover under this slide will be the weak rulers after Aurangzeb. So post the reign of greater Mughals, there were no rulers left who could carry. Of course many rulers came after Aurangzeb, but they were said to be the later Mughals who did not succeed in maintaining the rich legacy of the Mughal Empire. They were not that efficient, so to say. Post that we will see the corruption among the nobility as one of the major reasons for the downfall of this empire. Then we will cover Aurangzeb's intolerance. If you had known, then you would be knowing that Aurangzeb was very highly intolerant ruler. He was not liked by Hindus. So this is one of the reasons. Then we will see dominance of Marathas, how Marathas became dominant during that era and how it served the fate for the downfall of the Mughal Empire. We will also see the economic bankruptcy, that what all economic loopholes were there in the Mughal Empire, which became one of the prominent reasons for the downfall of this empire. Thereafter we will wrap up this video with the foreign invasion done by Ahmad Shah Abdali and Nadir Shah. So yeah, let's see them in separate pointers. So first we will have weak rulers after Aurangzeb. Now after Aurangzeb passed away in 1707, there were no rulers left who could rule the grand Mughal Empire. Of course many rulers came who are said to be the later Mughals, but to no avail. They couldn't make any impact whatsoever. They were very weak, very inefficient, and they more or less were driven by the rules and advocacies of the nobles and Marathas. So they were not that efficient and strong enough to carry forward the rich legacy of this empire. And later Mughals also failed miserably in uniting the whole empire and battling conflicts and suppressing the revolts. And thus weak successors of Aurangzeb contributed greatly to the downfall and the decline of the Mughal Empire. So Aurangzeb was the last great ruler of this Mughal Sultanate, and after him the rulers who came could not prove themselves to be able enough to carry forward the administration of this empire. Certain loopholes could be seen here and there, which ultimately acted as some very prominent and dominant reasons for the downfall of this empire. The second great reason which prompted the downfall of Mughal Empire was the corruption among nobilities. At the time of the rule of the greater Mughal rulers like Akbar, Shah Jahan, everything was so united. They had unity among them. The nobles were highly supportive, and they were not lazy. They would often take active part in the administrative affairs of the empire. However, they were the nobles who were active during the reign of later Mughal rulers were highly incapable. They were very inefficient, and many of them were corrupt even. So they were not very loyal, and they were also not very loyal to the functioning of the empire. They themselves were very corrupt. So how can we even expect them to carry forward the administrative affairs of the empire? No, that's downright impossible, right? So the downfall of Mughal empire is also attributed to the corrupt and inefficient nobility. I have tried my level best to give you all very concrete pointers, so that whenever you are going to frame a long answer, I mean 10 marker or 15 marker for that matter, then it is very viable enough, it is viable enough for you to cater to the sources, and you can make a very full-fledged concrete long answer. Now, the third greatest reason which prompted the downfall of Mughal empire was the intolerance reflected on the part of Aurangzeb. Now, if you had watched my dedicated video on Aurangzeb, then you would be knowing that how intolerant of a person Aurangzeb was. He was highly intolerant. He would not let Hindus celebrate their festival. He was also at daggers drawn with Sikhs and Rajputs. He had clashes going on every now and then. So he was not in the good books of people, naturally. And this also proved dangerous for the good fate of Mughal empire for very obvious reasons. He had n number of not so good things in his ruling period. He prohibited Hindus from celebrating their festival. He was, he had also persecuted a large number of people. He was entirely opposite to Akbar. He was entirely opposite to Akbar when it came to respecting the sentiments of other religion, because if you go to the video of Akbar, I had already described there that he was very supportive of other. He would always understand the sentiments and thought process of the people of belonging to other religion, which is not so likable in the case of Aurangzeb. He was highly intolerant. He would always hurt the sentiments of other religion. Aurangzeb was also at not so good terms with the Rajputs and Sikhs, which later on became one of the prominent problems for the Mughal empire. Aurangzeb also remained aloof from the administrative affairs of the Mughal dynasty. If you remember, he went on a Deccan campaign wherein he invested huge sums of money. He also deviated his attention from the functioning and working of the empire, and as a result, the administration of the empire got hampered, and thus started the disintegration of this humongous Mughal empire. Now, let's move on to our fourth point, which happens to be one of the main reasons of Mughal declining, which is dominance of Marathas. Now, Marathas had started by then. Marathas had already started having their strong grip and foothold in the northern region of India. Peshwa Bajirao was busy conquering territories in the northern part of India, and he was including all the captured territories under his domain and periphery, you can say. So Marathas basically kept on looting the areas and including them under control. Hence, the strong dominance of the Marathas and their constant attacks became one of the major causes for the decline of Mughal empire. And very certainly no one was there to suppress the revolts. Initially, retaliation was seen, but later on it was to no avail, because Marathas had already become very dominant in the northern part of India. So this also, caters to one of the reasons for the downfall or decline of the Mughal empire. Now we shall see the next point, which happens to be economic bankruptcy. Yes, so empire was also going through a lot of economic problems, though we also know that India's GDP was very high during the tenure of Mughal rulers. However, during the later stage of their career, of their ruling period, we see that financial problems had started gaining momentum. Shah Jahan had already drained enough amount of money on building various monuments. So he had invested huge sums of, he had invested huge money from Mughal treasuries on building huge monuments and stuff. And also Aurangzeb did try to, he did try to balance the financial constraints out, but during his Deccan campaign a huge sums of money was wasted. So later on, the later Mughals were not only inefficient as a ruler, but they were also very, leading a very extravagant lifestyle, which was one of the drawbacks of the functioning of the Mughal system. So basically, more than focusing on empire building and administrative affairs, they were more driven, or you can say invested in pleasurable activities or lifestyle, which contributed to the downfall of this empire. Very, obvious reasons. So this was about the 5th point. Now we shall see the last and the 6th point, which happens to be the foreign invasion at that time. Now, Nadir Shah was basically the founder of Afshari dynasty of Persia. So Nadir Shah and Ahmad Shah Abdali were the rulers who attacked India when Nadir Shah launched an attack. Then at that time Muhammad Shah was, I think, 13th Mughal ruler. Yes, he was 13th Mughal ruler, and at that time he was only ruling. So when Nadir Shah launched his attack, what happened? He got defeated. Nadir Shah captured Delhi, and then after some time Muhammad Shah passed away. I think he passed away in 1748, yeah. So he passed away, and thus began the disintegration of the Mughal Empire, which was already crippled due to the lack of efficiency of the later Mughal rulers. Now, in 1761, Shah Alam II came to Mughal throne, and at the same time came Ahmad Shah Abdali. So basically, he was a ruler from Afghanistan. So Ahmad Shah Abdali was a ruler from Afghanistan, and he came and started invading India. Now, by this time, Marathas had also set their foot forward, and this led to an open clash between Ahmad Shah Abdali and Marathas, and thus came into picture the Third Battle of Panipat, which took place on 14th January 1761 between Marathas and Abdali, and Marathas were defeated, they were crushed. Also, in case you are in doubt, then let me clear this out, that Ahmad Shah Abdali later on adopted the title of Ahmad Shah Durrani. So these two names belong to the same person. Also, I'll try making a separate video on the Third Battle of Panipat. So yeah, these were some of the concrete reasons which led to the downfall of the grand Mughal Empire. I hope this helps each one of you, and yeah, if you like the video, then please consider liking it, sharing it, subscribing, commenting down below. You can also follow me on my Instagram, which is mentioned in this slide itself. And yeah, until then, be safe, do well. Thank you.